Hi, Aries. Welcome to your monthly reading for August 2025. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Laura, aka Baby Curl Tarot. I'm a tarot reader, astrologer, and root worker, and I like to do monthly readings for all the zodiac signs here on YouTube. I don't know if you can tell, but over here on the side, I have my assistant with me today. Her name is Lil B, aka Shadow Shanice. So she might be hanging out. You might hear her, see her, whatever. Just pay her no mind. She's just here for the vibes. I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into your reading. Keep in mind, this is a general reading, so whatever comes up, comes up. And also, please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Do not ever try to force a video or reading on the internet to fit your specific personal situation. All right, let's get into it. Spiritual team, Citadel Fantasy Oracle, what messages do you have for the Aries Collective for August 2025? What messages do you have for the Aries Collective for August 2025? All right, what do we got? All right, we have the guide in reverse, and it says inheritance and correction. The guide, interesting. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the warrior in reverse, perfectionism and burnout. Interesting. Okay. So interesting. What I'm hearing is some of you could be unlearning some like leadership styles that are not healthy, okay, in a lot of ways. Or you guys are unlearning some sort of effects that have come through being in the presence of leaders or even like authority figures like parents that just didn't know what they were doing or were doing things that were borderline potentially abusive or just not suitable to actually teaching, guiding someone that they are responsible for. Okay, so that could be, again, a leadership situation like at work, or this I'm getting parent situation as well. Let's go ahead and get into the tarot and see what comes up here. Yeah, I feel like some of you guys are really struggling. Spiritual team, Black Tarot, what messages do you have for the Aries Collective for August 2025? What messages do you have for the Aries Collective for August 2025? I'm hearing somebody's having issues or struggling with like unlearning bad habits, bad leadership skills. Okay, let's see what's at the top of the deck. We have the Hanged Man in reverse. Okay, Five of Wands reversed, Seven of Coins reversed, 10 of Wands, Six of Baskets. Yeah, so that's what I was getting. I'm getting definitely this stems from childhood. This stems from some very early part of your life. Okay, some of you could deal with anger issues. I'm not going to lie. So there could be also issues related to conflict. And it could be two different ways that you handle conflict. Some of you could just become extremely irate, extremely angry, almost like ready to get physically violent with people. You don't know how to control your anger in that way. And for some of you, it's the complete opposite. Some of you like avoid conflict because you don't want to be that person because you grew up with people that were extremely combative and confrontational. And so you do your very best to try and avoid being that type of person to the point where you no longer engage or stand up for yourself, which is rare. I personally think for Aries people, most Aries I know are not afraid to say what's on their mind and have an argument with somebody, at the very least, verbal arguments. But yeah, for a lot of you, I feel like it kind of goes to the extreme in one way or another. And I feel like this is something that has hindered you in a lot of ways with the Seven of Coins in reverse. So this has either the lack of being confrontational or having the ability to stand up for yourself has not exactly gotten you where you want to be maybe in your career, because you're not fighting for those opportunities, or you're not fighting and standing up for yourself when someone wants to I don't know, place blame on you or make it seem like you're not doing your job correctly. Take what resonates. Okay, it could be different for all of you, but again, I just feel like it has hindered your ability to take on more responsibilities or more roles where you can really shine and obviously get more out of it for personal reasons, so financial reasons or just personal growth, whatever the case is. It feels like it's been hindered in that way. And on the opposite side, for those of you where you struggle with the anger issues, that has definitely jeopardized some opportunities too, because a lot of people just don't feel like you can emotionally handle being in situations where either you're at the forefront dealing with clients or where you're in charge of people, just because the environment that sometimes you can create can be hostile. And again, that's not necessarily how I'm seeing things. Maybe that's something that other people see you as. Okay, you may not necessarily see yourself as that type of person, but again, I just feel like some of you guys fall on a very extreme side of this spectrum, okay, when it comes to dealing with conflict and leadership abilities and skills, okay? So, for a lot of you, this is a time where you are, in a way, having to pay attention to this. With the Hanged Man in reverse, I feel like a lot of you guys have not recognized or been aware of how this one thing, this one trait of yourselves has impacted you for so long. And honestly, this may not even just show up in your career. This could show up in your personal lives with how you interact with other people, friends, okay, romantic relationships, family members, not just coworkers and things like that. This can also show up just, I mean, in your everyday life, okay? So don't just take this as a professional thing. I just feel like this has stunted your growth in your life in a lot of ways, all right? Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. We have the Four of Knives. We have the Magician in reverse. We have the Four of Wands in reverse, the Six of Knives in reverse, and the Ace of Coins. Yeah. A lot of you guys want new opportunities, or you want to change directions, but you don't know how, you don't know where to start. And a lot of you guys are not also understanding why you're not getting opportunities that you think you would be good for. And again, I think that this Mercury retrograde, for a lot of you, especially because it's in Leo, and Leo energy bounces well off of Aries. So you are going to be impacted by this Mercury retrograde a lot. I think that it's going to slow you down a lot in a lot of ways and really have you take a look at not only yourself, but just situations from the past. So you could have people coming up from the past or situations coming to mind from the past, and you're reflecting on it and potentially seeing it in a new way. For those of you that are willing to take that time out and really reflect and do some deep diving internally on, how things played out and maybe what your role was in how things played out. Does that make sense? I know it's hard, and sometimes we don't necessarily want to look at that and see that potentially we had something to do with something that didn't go our way. But sometimes that is the case. Okay. So if you feel like you're resonating with this, um, you definitely will understand. Again, each of you's situation is going to be different than everyone else's. Not every Aries situation is going to be the same as everyone else's. But I definitely feel like this retrograde season is a moment where you're going to be forced to slow down. You're going to be forced to sit with these memories or these old situations coming up either within yourself, like a memory, or someone coming back around and bringing up something that happened between the two of you or a group of you. And you're really going to just have to you're going to have to look at it from a fresh perspective, okay, whether you like it or not. I do get some resistance here with this Hanged Man in reverse, but unfortunately, a lot of you guys are not going to have any choice but to sit down and like really hear people out or see things differently. I hope that makes sense, Aries. Anyways, that is what I'm seeing. How this all turns out is completely up to you. Whether you're willing to do that deep dive or not is, again, completely up to you. Tarot does not tell the future. It just helps provide clarity to what's going on and maybe where you need to look in order to change things in your life. So again, Some of you are going to take the time to sit and reflect and go a little bit deeper, maybe, work with a therapist on this. And some of you are going to choose not to and ignore it and resist it, and you're still going to continue to have these problems. Okay. So, again, if you want to see the change, you have to make the change and take that first step and just work through it. And it's all growing pains. It's not easy work, I'm saying. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and close out your reading with a couple of oracle decks. I know the readings at the beginning of the month are on the shorter side. So if you want a longer reading in the middle of the month, I do bonus readings for the top 3 zodiac signs that engage the most of my content. So if you enjoyed the reading or you want a reading, maybe you didn't get the message you wanted today, leave a like, leave a comment, engage with this video in some way. Let me know that you want to see another reading for your zodiac sign. For those bonus readings, I do love readings on top of another general reading. So if you want that, engage, and hopefully I can get you guys in the running for that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, close out with a couple of oracle decks, get some additional messages for you. Spiritual team, messages from your annual spirit guides. What additional messages do you have for the Aries collective for August 2025? What additional messages do you have for the Aries collective for August 2025? Come on, there we go. All right, we have the gorilla. Take the time to listen, compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. Interesting. So like I said, for a lot of you, this could show up in not just your professional life, this could show up in your personal life. So you could have family members coming to you and talking to you about something that bothered them, or talking about, something that happened in your childhood, and maybe you're recognizing, wow, I have a lot of the same traits of somebody who I used to, really dislike, or I'm realizing now that the way I handle conflict is a direct reflection of how I was raised or who I was in contact with at such a young age, if that makes sense. So again, this is Mercury retrograde's way of slowing you down and kind of making you take a look at things from a different perspective. Next, we have manatee, and it says, accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it. Okay, so rather than trying to fight and make this turn out in your favor, really taking a objective look at the situation and accepting it for what it is, and accepting that, you know what, you need to take the time to work through it and change if you want to improve and if you want to do better. All right. At the bottom of the deck, we have the walrus. Remain vigilant about the current situation. Pay attention to signs and omens and let them dictate your choices. Very interesting. So I feel like a lot of you guys are going to have moments where you really get to decide how you're going to react to things, and whether you want to, again, go about how you've been doing it time and time again, or if you're going to take this period to actually do the work and change and try something different. And whether, again, that means speaking up for yourself when you haven't been, or deciding to kind of take a step back, and instead of reacting, listening or engaging in a different way instead of jumping quickly to anger or being combative. Okay. All right, final deck of the reading, spiritual team, Green Witch Oracle. What final messages do you have for the Aries collective for August 2025? What additional messages do you have for the Aries collective for August 2025? Okay, I did get one that flipped out, so I'm going to take that one and pull the rest here. Okay, so the first card that popped out was time, and it says courage there at the bottom. So again, being brave can also mean admitting when we were wrong. That is bravery, is accepting responsibility and accepting your part in things, and accepting that sometimes you were the villain in someone's story. And if you don't want to be that person anymore, then taking responsibility and learning how to improve is a huge step. And also courage, again, if you are someone who's a little bit on the quieter side, the more timid side, and less likely to speak up and speak out, learning how to break that silence and use your voice and be confident and know that your voice also matters is extremely brave. All right, what else do we have? Beetroot, and it says passion. So interesting. Yeah, it's also like finding that passion, or finding what you're passionate about and expressing that passion in a way that is not only conducive to you, but to your relationships and to the future that you want to create. in your own world. Okay, so being passionate about not only your own personal growth, but providing an environment or creating an environment that is conducive to not only your growth, but to those that you come in contact with as well. What else? We have bay leaf, wisdom. Yeah, so wisdom, learning to take a step back and look at ourselves from a different point of view, and learning how to improve ourselves in different ways. And then finally, at the bottom of the deck, we have carrot, and it says clarity. So getting clarity on a situation, getting clarity on ourselves, all of that, everything that I've been saying, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, so I don't want to go in too much more. Aries, please leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed this reading, if you feel like it resonated for you, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos from me in the future, and maybe share this with an Aries if you feel like it would resonate for them. If you want to see more content from me, I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. You can find my handles below in the description box. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. I hope to see you guys at the next reading, and until then, please take care of yourselves. Bye.